Hey guys, how's it going? We are back in the performance kitchen for another episode just for you. And joining me today is European and World Championship sailor, Sam Brearey. Sam, do you want to come over?
Hey, how are we doing?
How's it going? Thanks for being here today.
Pleasure.
We appreciate it. How's it going? All good?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good. So let's get straight into it. What are you going to be cooking for us today?
So today we're going to be cooking a chicken, broccoli and Stilton risotto.
Ian's here, talk us through what is going to be going into this risotto.
So we've got your standard risotto rice, which we're going to flavour a little bit with the onions.
Okay.
Once we've done that, we're going to cook up the chicken, add that into the mix, just sort of absorb some of the flavour, and then we're going to add in a mixture of chicken and vegetable stock, a little bit of pepper.
Okay.
And then once that's sort of in and infusing together, we'll add in some Stilton.
Okay.
Or any other blue cheese is good. We'll sort of mix that in, bit of broccoli in there to give it a bit of crunch. Fingers crossed, it will be edible.
Yeah, that's the least we expect it to be edible. So shall we get right into it?
Yeah.
Let's start chopping. What should I chop? You command me to chop.
I'll race you on an onion. I think
onion.
Probably the first thing.
That's good. Let's get the onions going.
So we're just going to dice the onion.
Okay. How long does it usually take to make this meal?
Not too long. Like, one of the reasons that I love this meal is because it's so quick and easy to make.
Okay.
It's one of those things where you can sort of once you've done the chopping and the initial cooking, it just sort of just sits simmering away, stirring it every now and then, and you can go away, do what else is needed.
Once the ingredients are in,
live your life.
Simple. Live your life. Yeah. So tell us a little bit for people at home and for myself, because I don't know too much about sailing. What category were you sailing in? Or are you sailing in now? Because you're European champion and world champion as well. I mean, it's pretty. Three times European champion.
3 times.
2 times world champion.
3 times,
it's pretty serious stuff. So yeah, I mean, what category did you kind of have your career in? And
so my career's been quite mixed. I started off in a boat called a cadet in my junior days. So that was sort of from the ages of 6 all the way through to around 16, 17.
Okay.
And I then progressed from that into a boat called a 420, which is another 2-person boat, single trapeze. With trapezing, where you're strapped into the harness, it's quite a niche area of sailing. Like, not many people do it. So I sort of very, very quickly set my sights on becoming one of the best trapezing crews in the country. So
we've got the hob on at the moment at low heat. It's quite important to remember.
Real low heat.
So we're at about what, 2 gas mark 2? So I don't know how it works exactly. Level 2. Yeah. So we'll start throwing the onions in now.
Yeah. So we're just going to put a teaspoon of coconut oil in,
okay,
just to give it a little bit of A, flavour, and B, lubrication.
Okay. Coconut oil. Do you use coconut oil with every dish that you make? Do you mix up a little bit?
Most dishes, it's one of those things where it's a much healthier oil for the body.
Yeah.
So it's really good if you're in training, and it also gives a little bit more flavour than a lot of other oils.
Yeah,
so
of course
I personally quite like it.
Okay. So we'll put these in.
Any real oil will do the job. Yeah. Onions straight in.
Right. I'll put these in.
Straight in there. So
there we go. So they're sizzling away.
Yeah, we'll let those just simmer away a little bit.
What's the next stage?
Next stage is going to be to chop the chicken.
Okay.
And then once the chicken's chopped, that's a riddle for you, isn't it?
Chicken's chopped, yeah.
We'll throw the risotto rice in with the onions, just let that brown off a little bit, and then that's it, we're good to go.
Okay, I'm not great at chopping the chicken. I might have to just copy what you're doing there. Hopefully it works out all right. People at home are probably thinking, how do you not know how to chop a chicken?
So I always chop into relatively biggish chunks.
Okay.
Just because then it's, when you test it, if it's cooked, you can just chop it in half again and it doesn't make it too small.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
You can see the inside of it as well, which is good.
So Sam, a lot of people at home are probably thinking, I have no idea what a sailor eats. I mean, and to be honest, it's really, really hard work. You're jumping around the boat a lot, you're constantly moving, your like, concentration levels must be right up there. What do you have to just carb up a lot? Is there any particular diet you were on when you won World Championships, European Championships?
Really, really depends. So a lot of sort of sailboat racing is around your weight management. So a lot of our diets are more around making sure we're weighing the correct amount going into events. Okay. So there's quite a specific sort of target weight for each type of boat.
And is that to do with the balance of the boat? It can't be too heavy on one side? Or?
Yeah, for sure. And so if you sort of think that the wind is always trying to blow the boat over onto its side, And so the bigger the boat, the more it tips.
Of course.
So the heavier you need to be.
Right. Okay.
But if you're too heavy, you then sit too low in the water and it creates drag.
Right.
So it's just sort of like if you run your fingers through a bath compared to running your whole arm through a bath, like your arm's going to be have a lot more resistance.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
It's a real fine trade-off between the boat sitting in the right place in the water,
right,
and being able to handle the right amount of wind.
So did you have to be a certain weight for the European Championships and then with the World Championships, or did you have to put on weight for a certain?
Yeah, so I sail two different classes of boat, different types. One's called a 470, which is the Olympic class. Right. And for that, I've got to be really light, so I need to be around 72 kilos, which at
we got our onions sizzling away in the background here.
Which at 6'2" is quite a big ask.
Yeah.
And then for the fireball, which is my other class, I need to be around 86 kilos.
Right, okay. So which is what stone? How much is that stone?
That's a very good question.
I don't work in kilos.
I only work in kilos.
Right, okay, we'll say like 13, 14?
Yeah, so I think 72 kilos is 10 stone.
Okay, right.
I think.
Okay.
So I need to be around 10 stone, I think, for the 470 and like 13 stone for the fireball.
So what were you eating every day? Was it the same kind of stuff, or did you have a nutritionist helping you out, or was it just you?
On the weight loss program,
yeah.
Don't eat very much is the answer. So I do a lot of like fasted rides. So I do sort of have no breakfast or just have coffee for breakfast. Just
coffee?
Just to kick the metabolism into gear.
Right, okay. Probably wouldn't recommend that for people at home.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Yeah, but it worked for you. So.
Worked for me. You know, do like a 2-3 hour bike ride. Then have like a little bit of lunch, which could be soup, could be bacon, avocado, those sorts of things. Yeah. And then another training session again in the afternoon.
Right. So I mean, it's not too. We'll just stir these a little bit. It's not too like uncommon to kind of have a small breakfast and then go out training straight away, come back and then eat. That's not too uncommon. A lot of people do that.
No. It's actually it's a really good way of losing weight. Yeah. As long as you're eating the right thing for breakfast and you only do it 2 or 3 times a week. Okay. All right. That's probably important information to know. Because obviously you're burning so many calories when you sleep. You wake up, you're burning more calories, and then it's a while before you actually eat something. You put on that weight. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And there's a lot of research around like fasted exercise being really good for you losing weight, because it means you miss out a few stages of energy systems. Right. So you go straight from your oxygen system into your fat burning system. So you start burning fat a lot sooner. That's so interesting. If that makes sense. Never knew that, yeah. Really interesting. Right, we've got the chicken here. Yeah, is this going in? So we've just thrown the risotto rice in with the onions. So risotto rice and the onions are in now, and the chicken is going to go in as well. So the next part is the chicken. It's going in a separate pan? Yep, so we're going to put this in a separate pan, just while the risotto rice browns off a little bit. Okay. And we're good to go. And we're halfway there, really. Yeah, much more. Absolutely, yeah. So we talked a little bit about your World Championships. You won your first title in, was it 2010, 2011? First world title in 2012. 2012, and that's for anyone who doesn't know, it's called the Fireball Championships. Is it in Australia, or is it all around the world? So that year was in Australia, and we take it all over the world. So. Right. What's the best place you've sailed at? Must be hard to pick. Really hard to pick. Even places like Ireland that people don't even realise are the west coast of Ireland. Yeah, incredible. Absolutely gorgeous. I think two different favourites. Barbados was incredible as a place. So you're sailing around and turtles are just popping up. Wow. And such clear water, really nice people. It's just amazing. I think Australia was really good because it was so special to me. Right. Because it's the first ever world title I'd won, and the way we won it was really, really quite special for us. Yeah. So Australia's got a lot of fond memories for me, I think. Yeah, yeah. And what kind of time of the day would you have this, or how often would you have this kind of meal? Because you still obviously sail a couple of times a week. Yeah. So would you have it before or after? Is it pre or post? So this would be more of a post type meal. So this would be sort of quite a heavy meal that would set us up for the next day and recover us a little bit from the day before. So it's got a real nice balance. If you've got sort of your carbohydrates and stuff through your rice, you're getting your protein in through your chicken. Your cheese is giving you sort of more of the fats and stuff that you might need to replenish for a long day on the water. And also broccoli and stuff for a bit of health.
Yeah.
And you can throw in carrots, beans, it's throw whatever you want into it.
Okay, so we've got the chicken and the risotto. Well, the risotto and the onions are almost finished. Just waiting
almost
for the chicken to cook now. And we were talking before about breakfast. You kind of haven't. You've got in the habit of not really having breakfast. Like, what did you have this morning, for example?
Yeah, it's so I think because I was on weight loss for such a long part of my career, and breakfast was either really small or didn't really exist.
Right.
So I've almost forced myself to not eat breakfast a lot.
Right.
And
would you have a smoothie or protein shake? Like, a lot of people replace meals with protein shakes. Would you recommend that?
No, it's one of the worst things you can do.
Okay.
Like, protein supplements are what they say on the tin. They're a supplement to your diet. They're never a replacement.
You heard it from the pro here. No more protein shakes.
No more protein shakes. Any like shake or thing that claims to be a meal replacement, I'd be really wary about it. With actual like protein supplements, there's anything that's Informed Sport tested is fine, because that means it's relatively safe for at least athletes to use in terms of like the anti-doping side. So that's relatively safe. Anything that isn't Informed Sport tested, be wary of. The problem is with shakes and stuff, a lot of them will be quite nutritious and have all the values they say they have, but they'll have a whole load of additional chemicals. The way they're made isn't great. Cross-contamination with other products that they're made within, like in the same factories. It's very high risk to me. There's a lot of like liver problems can come out of it, stuff like that. So.
Okay, so chicken's almost done here.
Yeah, chicken's almost done.
What's the next step? The risotto and the onions are looking good.
Yeah, so that's browning off nicely. Next we'll just chop the chicken in half, some of these bigger bits.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned that before. You do usually have I've got a knife here if you'd like that. So. And we've got some vegetable stock and some beef stock. Is that all going in as well?
So we'll make that up now, I think, actually.
Okay, brilliant.
So we'll need to boil a kettle with a couple of pints of hot water.
Okay.
And a measuring jug to mix it in.
We'll do that now.
Put a few different bits in. We're going to put in a little bit of black pepper.
Okay.
A bit of crushed black pepper.
How much would you say of that? Is maybe a teaspoon?
Yeah, teaspoon and a half.
Yeah,
It's mostly to balance out a little bit of the salt from the cheese.
Right.
So depending how much cheese you put in, depends how much pepper you want.
Okay.
You can always add a little bit at the end. So I'd always go a little bit less to start with, and always add at the end if you need to.
Okay. We've got vegetable stock.
Vegetable stock's going to go in. So just crush it up a little bit in your hand.
So, and the beef stock goes in the same. It's all going in together, right?
All in together.
I've never seen a beef stock and a vegetable stock in together. It's a new experience for me.
Chicken stock.
Oh, chicken stock.
Yeah, so it's just two slightly different flavours which I think work really well together in this sort of meal.
Sounds very interesting.
Again, the beauty is you can mix it up, and if you don't like it, don't put it in.
Yeah, that's it.
So we get some boiling water, so just pour that in.
Okay.
Give it a bit of a stir, make sure it's all nice and whatever that word is.
So just to say again, about a pint and a half of water with pepper, vegetable stock and chicken stock all in together. That will go in, and then once the water evaporates, the risotto is pretty much ready when it's soft. So we're throwing the chicken in with the water, with the stock and the hot water.
Yeah.
Crank up the heat a little bit. And then how long does that cook for? About 10 minutes maybe? 5-10 minutes?
Yeah, like 5-10 minutes. If you're in a rush, you can put it on a slightly higher heat, which will do it quicker. Just make sure you keep an eye on it.
Risotto almost done now. We've got the broccoli here and the cheese. Is that going in soon?
Yeah, so broccoli can be start to be chopped.
I'll start doing that?
Yeah, start that. So it's gonna.
I'm not amazing at chopping broccoli. I'll give it a go.
Just gonna keep stirring the risotto to make sure it doesn't stick. So your classically important taste test.
How's it tasting?
Good.
Edible?
Edible, still a little bit crunchy.
Okay.
So probably just add in a little bit more water.
Okay.
So we get the kettle.
The best way to really tell if something's cooked is to just taste it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we've got the broccoli here. We're throwing it in now? Or we got the cheese as well?
Yeah, so we'll quickly chop up the cheese and then broccoli going at the end. It's if you throw the broccoli in too early, it goes a bit mushy.
Yeah.
And personally, I quite like it to have a bit of crunch to it.
Okay.
It gives a bit of texture to the meal.
Perfect. All right. Last stage of the meal right now. So should we put the cheese and the broccoli in?
Yeah.
You good to go?
Broccoli can go in.
That's looking lovely. Right, broccoli in. Here we go. Got a big board here. Got to be careful not to spill it.
Oh, I'll field for you.
Yeah. So there's quite a lot of broccoli going in. A whole kind of big bunch. Yeah, tough. I don't know what the word is. What do you call a big broccoli?
A whole broccoli.
Yeah, a whole broccoli goes in.
Yep. So just at the end, we turn the heat down a little bit.
Okay. Just simmer it for a little bit.
just simmer it, and we just add a touch of water at the end.
Okay.
This just helps sort of cook the broccoli a little bit for us, and the broccoli will absorb some of the moisture. So just a splash of water, get that stirred in.
It's looking good.
And then once the broccoli starts to go sort of a deeper green colour, that's when we know it's starting to cook.
Okay.
Again, with all these things, it's very easy to overcook broccoli.
Yeah.
And the minute that you start having colour draining from broccoli, you're losing all of the goodness of it.
Awesome. So yeah, the cheese goes in now.
Cheese in next.
Okay.
Very much up to you how much cheese you want.
Okay.
Again, you can always add in a little bit at the end.
I don't think I've ever had blue cheese before. So it's kind of an acquired taste, right? You'd say for most people.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a slightly acquired taste, but it's also it's really good at giving quite an intense flavour to a meal.
Okay.
So you know, if you've got quite a relatively basic meal, which this is in many ways, it gives it a real sharp flavour to it, which is quite nice.
Right, lovely. While you're doing that, I'll get a couple of plates ready to go.
Lined up. So we'll literally just stir this in until all the cheese is melted.
Okay.
And then we're good to go.
All right, so we're ready to serve up.
This is it.
We have 2 plates here. The moment of truth. Like you said, as long as it's edible, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
That's the main thing for sailors, as long as it's edible. It's looking good, I have to say.
I'm afraid my presentation skills are never quite as good as they
it's a risotto.
As they perhaps should
it's
be.
Hard to make it amazing. It all goes down the same way.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the main thing. That's why I always say when I'm cooking, it doesn't look great. All good?
Nailed it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What would you name this meal then?
Probably a chicken Stilton risotto.
Chicken Stilton risotto.
Yeah. I think you can taste all 3. So.
Okay, there you have it. Chicken Stilton risotto, made by an ex-champion sailor.
Yeah. Meal of champions.
Meal of champions. Now you know what sailors really eat. Sam, thanks a lot, mate.
No worries,
really
pleasure.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
It's been great, and we'll see you next time on the Performance Kitchen.